Hi, in this video we'll be continuing our conversation of how to solve an inequality. So you may have heard from somebody that solving an inequality is basically just like solving an equation. And if you've heard that, then whoever you heard that from is almost right. But there is one super important exception that we'll talk about in this video. Okay, so there is the very important note. If we're going to multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, and it's super important that we are referring here to a negative number, this is going to reverse the direction of the inequality sign. So this guy right here, if we multiply or divide at any point while we're solving, this guy right here will change directions from that to that way. All right, but you'll see what I mean. And if you want to know why, I'll kind of give you a hint as to why at the end of the video. Okay, cool. Let's do it. All right, so here we have m. M is being divided by -3. We want m alone. We have to do the opposite of dividing by -3, or the inverse operation of dividing by -3. And so we have to go ahead and multiply by -3. And whatever we do on one side, we have to do to the other side as well. Now, notice that we are multiplying by a negative number. So that tells us something very important. That tells us that we need to flip the direction of the inequality sign. So now it becomes less than instead of greater than. So now we get that m, because these cancel, m is less than -3. And that's our answer in this case. Oh, that not -3. -3 times -3. So m is less than -9. All right, and that's the answer in this case. Let's try a couple more just to make sure we have it down. Okay, so here we have another inequality that we're being asked to solve, and we want x alone in this case. And in order to get x alone, well, we notice here that x is being multiplied by 2, and we have to do the inverse operation. So the inverse operation of multiplying by 2 is dividing by 2. Notice I'm dividing by 2, +2, not -2. I'm dividing by +2. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and divide by +2. Now, because I'm dividing by a positive number, I will not be flipping the sign. The sign will stay in the same direction that it currently is. And we get here that x is greater than -4. Now, where a few people may mess up in this question is looking at that -8 and saying, well, we're dividing -8 by 2, so shouldn't we flip the sign? No, no, no. As the rule states, it's only when you are dividing or multiplying by a negative number that you flip the sign. In this case, we were dividing by 2. So that's why we didn't have to reverse the direction of the sign. All right, one more, just for good luck. All right, that was supposed to be a pen, but obviously it wasn't. All right, there we go. All right, so we're going to solve the inequality -5x, this is an example, is greater than or equal to 15. And we want to isolate the x in this case. So we want to do the opposite of multiplying by -5. We are doing the inverse operation here. So we're dividing by -5 on both sides. And so in order to get our x alone, when we divide by -5, we have divided by a negative, which means we need to flip this sign, and we get that x is less than -3. Now, what we haven't done at all in this video is talk about graphing or inequality solutions. So we're going to just graph this last one just for some good measure here. So remember that you want -3 to be somewhere on this number line. -3, -4, -5, -2, -1, 0, and it keeps going both directions, but obviously I can't draw infinitely. All right, in order to say that the point -3 is included, we draw a shaded dot. So that's telling us that -3 is an included point, and x is everything less than or equal to that point. So less than means that the values go to the left. And that's how you graph the solution of your inequality. All right, so for those of you who watched the entire video, just dying to know, why do you flip that sign when you multiply or divide by a negative number? Well, I'm going to give you a hint. I'll let you mull it over. And if you still don't understand why, you can leave me a comment and I'll explain further if you like. All right,